everybody, so it's finally time to talk some Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
I just got back from the theater not too long ago. Gonna try my best to keep things brief,
but my apologies if I do end up rambling on a bit too long. Full disclosure, this is non-spoiler, by the way. I'm gonna do my best to try and weave my way around spoilers as much as I can.
But anything that I really talk about with added context is going to be stuff that you saw from the trailers or any of the TV spots.
So that's just a warning. I want to make sure you guys know all that stuff right off the bat.
Much like every MCU fan, I was super ready to go into this film, for the madness, continue delving deeper into the multiverse elements that were set up in the films and the Disney Plus shows.
Not only that, but this is the return of Sam Raimi to directing, because he hasn't directed a film since 2013's Oz the Great and Powerful. And since we do know he has that comic book movie background and that horror background, it seemed like the perfect marriage here to have him combine these elements together with an entry in the MCU that is kind of more slanted in the horror direction. There are quite a bit of horror elements in Multiverse of Madness. Kicking things off right there, this absolutely 100% is a Sam Raimi film. A lot of the criticisms, a lot of the time when they plug in these Marvel directors, is a lot of the time they don't really have their own voice or visual flair to their films, so a lot of them do feel very similar. I personally don't think that's the case here with Multiverse of Madness. I believe that Sam Raimi had a bit more creative control here, and that's why he signed on after Scott Derrickson left the project, and you can really tell it benefited from his creative control, because I think this is probably one of the best directed MCU films, if not entirely, but at least in the last several years. Just from a technical aspect, this film is just awe-inspiring what we're seeing unfold in a film like this, because Doctor Strange, the first film, it had some pretty crazy visuals, but like this amps it up by like 1,000 due to the fact that we're following all of these different characters throughout all of these various different multiverses. Now the multiverse stuff is completely open now. We had a little bit of tidbits here and there between the films and the shows, but this film, Multiverse of Madness, it just absolutely kicks the door open here when it comes to the multiverse concept. It's a bit heady, it's a bit crazy, but I think we've kind of like eased ourselves into it at this point between No Way Home and the shows like Loki and stuff like that. Obviously, we've seen what we can do with the multiverse now, like in No Way Home where we brought back Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. There are some pretty insane cameos here in Multiverse of Madness. You've seen a couple of them in the TV spots and the trailers already, like Professor Xavier, Captain Carter is one as well, but the best ones are the ones that we have not seen in the TV spots, the trailers, all that stuff. I think your guys' minds are going to be blown when you see the characters that you've not seen in the trailers, because they're pretty awesome. I don't know necessarily if we're going to see some of these characters ever again, but the scenes that we do get with them in this film, they're pretty insane, especially one involving some of these cameos and Wanda. Speaking of Wanda and the other characters in the film, I feel like a lot of them get some great character development here, especially Wanda and Doctor Strange. I mean, it is Doctor Strange's movie after all, but Wanda gets a lot of time to shine too, which, I mean, some people might complain about, but I personally wasn't, because I love Wanda as a character. The way that this film's story is structured, bouncing between the characters, it is a little bit clunky at times, but I found myself invested in the characters enough where it really didn't bother me all that much, other than a few handful of times throughout the film's runtime. Also, we are throwing in, Wong, and then you also have the new character to the film, Xochitl Gomez as America Chavez. I feel like she might get some mixed reactions, but I thought that she was a lot of fun. I think she brought a lot of fun spirit to the character, and I think that she's going to be another fun addition to the MCU when she gets more appearances. She's definitely a great character in this, in my opinion. I'd like to see more of her in other projects. I'm not sure necessarily where she'll end up being in the future. This is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and I do think that he is great in this, but Wanda is kind of a scene stealer here. I think a lot of people, especially after WandaVision, are a lot more invested in her story and see where it goes in this film and where it could potentially lead into the future. I think it does a great job continuing on that story where last we saw her in WandaVision. I think there is some good payoff here with her arc from WandaVision carrying over into this, attempting to get Tommy and Billy back, in the process kind of straddling the line a little bit between being a hero and a villain, which is kind of something that she's done before in the past, like in WandaVision. It'll definitely be up to the person on whether you want to cheer for Wanda or root for somebody to stop her in the film, whether you're on her side or against her. I think this is probably the best portrayal of Scarlet Witch so far. Elizabeth Olsen is so great as this character, and I think this probably is her best performance. I mean, WandaVision was great too, but this is just like a next level Scarlet Witch in my opinion. After this film, I really am intrigued to see where we go next with these characters, especially with the way that we end off the film, and of course the post-credits stuff, because the post-credits stuff, it's pretty exciting, especially because of who pops up in it. I'm not going to go into too many details, but it's pretty awesome and could signal some very exciting stuff for the future of the MCU, just like what you'd want in a film like this. And also the score It's fantastic. It's Danny Elfman. Danny Elfman, Sam Raimi have had some pretty great work in the past, so it kind of felt like nostalgia in a way, just because it reminded me back of the old Spider-Man films. But now you've heard my thoughts on Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Make sure you leave some comments in the comment section down below. Are you excited for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness? Are you not excited? And when you do get a chance to check out the film, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. Did you like the film, not like the film? Share any thoughts or theories you may have on where we're going to go with these characters. Obviously, try and be as spoiler-free as possible, because I do want to make sure people go into this film knowing as little as possible, so I want to have some of these big surprises, these big cameos, these big moments in the film be as spoiler-free as possible. I want everybody to have their minds blown like I did, and if you do post spoilers, I'm probably just going to end up deleting it anyway, so it seems kind of pointless to try and do so. But either way, thank you guys so much for checking out the videos. I really do appreciate that. Wish a like on the video. Also, subscribe to the channel so you're updated movie reactions, unboxings, and more. For the next time, I'll see you guys later.